thing about black men?
Nothing. Black men suck.
What's your
They're bad. They cheat. They don't care. I'm with the white boys.
favorite thing about black men?
Nothing.
What's it?
I don't like black men. Not very many meet my standard.
What's your favorite thing about black men?
Nothing.
Alright,
They're just terrible.
So I then say, as I'm making my coffee, the one thing I noticed is that our black kings did not assist us. That's what I said. That's all I said. And then I said, when the opportunity comes, there's never any assistance, even on a small scale.
Only man that's obligated to protect you is your husband. If you want protection, ma'am, get a husband.
But don't let no man try to get over on you, okay? I don't give a damn if you slap him in the head with a pan. He not supposed to hit you back. I'm sorry, I don't.
Women today are a lot more aggressive. We have become what I call men in skirts.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety.
This is Drew, and I'd like to welcome you back once again to Real Talk Media One. Today, I want to talk about a subject that seems to be a sticking point every time it gets brought up online. When black women say that black men don't protect them, they're the least protected. Should we protect somebody that's just as aggressive or more aggressive than the black man? Let's talk about it.
I have one question. What did black women do to black men that was so bad? What did we do historically that was so bad?
Stole our children and used them as pawns for child support. You embarrass us on the daily by not dressing modestly. You talk about our mothers when we disagree with your behavior. You call us homosexual when we assert our masculinity. You lie on us to the world by telling them that we unalive you every 5.5 hours. You call the police on us and get us thrown in prison or jail more than anybody else.
Yep.
You disrespect us when we try to bring together our families, which is what you did when you brought up Kevin Samuels in your video. You claim that we're trash and deadbeat fathers, even though we are the most involved in our children's lives. You always talking about how we bash you, but you never bring up the videos of us doing so. What you would rather do is just say it and then act like the videos we do post about you aren't about your behavior, mannerisms, and characteristics that we wish would change. Now here you are acting like a victim, crying to us.
This brother right here, I think he made a pretty good point in a lot of his points, because if you really look at media for the last probably 50 to 60 years, all our women did is got on national TV and called us deadbeats. We don't take care of our children. We beat our women. We abandon them. We're no good. That's what's been preached for at least 50 to 60 years. Between Sally Jesse Raphael, Oprah, basically became a billionaire by a lot of her programming bashing black men. But now time we get to a point that we're able to say anything back. Now we're bashing. We're not allowed to be able to have any type of viewpoint. We're not allowed to have any feelings, when we're being treated like crap. And if we do have feelings, then like the guy said, we're shamed. And a lot of this coming from the same black women that basically let you know, we hate your guts. We don't care nothing about you. We don't respect you. We're not going to listen to you. Basically F you. That's basically the way a lot of these women treat the men.
What's your favorite thing about black men?
Nothing. Black men suck.
They're
bad. They cheat.
Starting
they don't care.
young.
I'm with the white boys.
favorite thing about black men?
Nothing.
What's it?
I don't like black men. Not very many meet my standard.
So I then say, as I'm making my coffee, the one thing I noticed is that our black kings did not assist us.
Now stop right there. Let me pretty much set the tone for this. Basically, she was at some type of, I don't know if she was at Quick Trip or whatever, getting some coffee or whatnot. And something went on. I think some napkins or something got dropped on the floor. And then she started mouthing off at the men that were standing around and didn't bend over and pick it up. And basically, she got mad because another man told her, basically, close your mouth. You can't, you don't just start mouthing off. And she didn't like it. Let's listen to it.
That's what I said. That's all I said. And then I said, when the opportunity comes, There's never any assistance, even on a small scale.
Basically, she felt like, if you listen to what she said basically,
all I said is, you know how kings don't step up at the smallest thing.
then she said, that's all I said. But then she come back and said a whole lot more. So what that tells me was she was in there talking a whole lot of trash to a bunch of men that had no connection with her, expecting them to just, you know, acquiesce to what she had to say like they're a bunch of children. And when they didn't do what she thought they should have been doing, all of a sudden they're not men.
Only man that's obligated to protect you is your husband. If you want protection, ma'am, get a husband.
There you go.
About the fact that you watched us like an overseer with your arms folded and then decided after I called you out on not assisting us, then all that energy you giving me right now, you could have did that and we could have got that up quicker.
That's not.
But you chose not to. But I still common courtesy at a store that I frequent. And I know you do too. Seriously. This man followed me around the entire store, calling me everything but a child of God.
Now, I couldn't find the very tip-top beginning of this, but basically she's talking about she got to arguing with one of the guys because she in there talking trash to him. She's trying to act like,
I would just calm, letting them know that, you know how kings should protect us and all that.
she was just upset because she felt that she should talk to all these grown men in there any kind of way like they're 5 years old and came from her womb. And then when a man snapped out, she expected the other men to step in and save her, you know, because she's a woman. And when it didn't happen, you know, now she's all, you know, got her panties all in a bunch. She's all upset. It sounded like she said the guy took and, you know, they were still mouthing. Of course, she wasn't shutting up. I can tell you that now. She started talking trash. He followed out to the parking lot. Now, I guess he read the box. And she don't understand why the other guy didn't step in and save the day for her.
But if we don't hold people accountable for their actions.
Till I started taking accountability. Now I know I'm just an ain't shit ass bitch.
Yes, she wants people to be held accountable for their actions, but she won't hold her mouth accountable for this whole mess.
There you go. Now, I got some of this commentary from my boy over there. That he has a channel talking about Please Act Right. And I think he made some pretty good points. He's going to help me narrate some of this because a lot of points, you know, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So I used a few of the things he had to say about this video also. But let's go.
Okay, here we go. TikTok. This is my problem. Well, let me read it. It says, I know you're hurt. We can see that. But read back to yourself what your response was to me just now and what led up to this. I don't want to know that. Strong, independent black women. You can't have it both ways.
There you go.
Is what the whole message says.
Women today are a lot more aggressive.
No
They
doubt.
have become what I call men in skirts.
Black women are the most disrespected people.
They're disrespected. They're the most disrespectful bunch on the earth. But they expect, you know, a random men to just come and put their life in danger because you feel like you should just be able to flap your chops anytime that you want to.
Felt like it was so commonplace that it was allowed. I didn't call this man outside of his name, and I still refer to him as a man.
Sound like you shouldn't have said anything. These guys wasn't your husband. They wasn't your children. You had no right to be in there, you know, disrespecting them, talking to them any kind of way.
Twisted. I am well protected. I am not an independent black woman. I am married. I have 2 grown black sons. I grew up in an era where if you spoke ill to any women in our neighborhood, the men stepped in and said, say that to me.
First of all, you wasn't in your neighborhood. You was in a store or whatnot, and you thought that you could just say anything that you want, and every man just supposed to rush in and protect you because you're a woman, and you feel like you can just flip off, talk to anybody any kind of way, and men that you wouldn't even piss on, so to speak. But Bob, you wouldn't do anything for them if they needed anything from you. They're just supposed to step in, risk their life because, what, you a woman? I don't think so. You know, in a lot of videos I put out, if you want to be treated like a woman, you need to start acting like one. Women are not loud and aggressive.
That's a woman you're talking to. Where is that part gone?
So black women have been complaining how black men don't protect, as if these men are obligated to protect us.
Exactly.
The only man that's obligated to protect you is your husband. If you want protection, ma'am, get a husband or call 911.
There you go.
Because you not wash, cook, and cleaning for these random men on the street. So why should this random man on the street protect you?
Exactly.
There are more gay men standing up for women, period.
That's because you all don't bash gay men.
There you go.
Where is the respect to the black woman?
Listen to that. Now it goes to the shaming.
Oh man, gay men do better at protecting us than y'all do.
Cause y'all support them, y'all act like, well, they kind of got feminine features, got feminine nature, so y'all kind of bond. But when it comes to the average black man, the average black woman treats them like dog crap.
Why is it so okay for them to talk to me like that?
That's not the question. The question is, why is it okay for you to talk to them like that? See, it's hard for these women to turn the mirror back and say, hey, maybe I messed up. Maybe I should have closed my mouth.
I started taking accountability. Now I know I'm just an ain't shit ass bitch.
Tended to my own business. But no, you feel like, because a bunch of black men, these a bunch of boys in here, I can just talk to them any kind of way. I don't see what this is much different than back in slavery time when a white man would come up to you and call you boy.
Cool. I can be strong and independent and still want to be protected.
No, sir.
Because regardless, I am a woman. Women are just...
But you don't get it both ways. That's what you keep messing up at. You can't have it both ways. Either you're going to be a lady or you're going to be a man. Now, once you start crossing them lines or whatnot, you're pretty much going to get what you get. Nobody wants to be disrespected, talked to any kind of way, and just treated like, you're subhuman. Come on now.
I can be strong and independent and still want to be protected. Because regardless, I am a woman.
That's your husband's job, not a random man.
Women are just so privileged with a lot of things. We don't realize simple concept. Like, for example, when a man is telling us to chill, that is a form of protection.
Mm-hmm.
When a man say, hey, don't wear that, don't go there, don't engage in certain conversation or certain friend group, don't go on these girl strip. It's not him trying to control you, per him being insecure. That within itself is a form of protection.
This young lady just basically touched on some of it there. She said it's not about people jumping in to fight for you and die for you. I'm sure somebody in there told her probably to calm down. The guy's getting upset. I don't want us to see nothing happen to your sister. She don't want to hear that. She wants to be able to go off, blow the spot up, and then some man come in there and risk his life because this other guy may have had a gun or anything. But they want to be able to pick the fight, start the crap, and then you as a man go in and finish it, end up in jail, or even worse, you end up getting taken out. More and more we're starting to see that these aggressive women, they're getting treated like men. Because men are getting tired of just being talked to like they're nothing.
Me and you got to step out back. Bring
Here
your
we
ass, nigga. Bring it on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
I never said I was equal to a man because I'm not. I'm not a man. I am a woman.
You out of your fucking mind? Protection? Yeah. You can punch people in their eyes, right? Right?
I couldn't believe it. So, tell me what you think. Because
I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that you was in there running your mouth. You should have closed your mouth, tended your business, got your beverage or whatever you was going on, and paid for it and walked out the store. These men do not owe you anything. Most men, I'm not saying all, I would say 99% of men you see out in public, they're not just going to come up to a random woman and just start talking trash to her for no reason. What happens is these women think that they can just say anything to us, and then the rest of the fools supposed to step in and risk their life. But as they see, it's just not happening.
When the men told her what they think, that the whole thing was her fault because she should have kept her mouth shut, she refuses to accept it.
this is just opening up a whole can of worms. All I was trying to do, open up this awareness.
No, you weren't. You were trying to get people to sympathize with you.
Exactly.
If you were trying to open up awareness, you would have told the women in that original video to keep your thoughts to yourself, or you could be putting yourself in danger.
Yep.
Because this has never happened to me.
And now it has happened to you, but clearly you've learned nothing from it.
Because where I come from, there are real men. Real.
Stop right there. Now you're not a real man if you're not just letting a woman run amok, run her mouth, pick after anybody, say anything to anybody, and you don't step in and risk your life for a woman that you have absolutely no ties for. Shame attacks have gotten out of hand. Oh my God.
That check other men, and those men that they check understand, because they're human. You'd be like, you know, my bad, man. I was out of pocket.
Now she talking about all these men doing all the checking. Why didn't you check yourself? That's what I'm saying. And I think that's what, you know, men are starting to see. These women want us to check each other, hold ourselves to a higher standard while they go off and say anything, and we just supposed to bow our head and take it like a good little puppy. It's just not happening, especially not in modern day society. It's not happening.
That don't happen no more. Those days are pretty much gone. We had to be strong. We had to be masculine. We had to be hard. Y'all made us like this because you don't protect us. And I'm not talking about my husband, because my husband, it would have been a whole different situation. I would have had to stop him. What are you not getting here? What are you people?
Do you hear that? She said if it would have been her husband in there, which he wasn't. So that should have made you calm yourself first either way, because you see you was by yourself. But she said if her husband in there, things would have been different. He would have dived on him or whatever. She'll be the same woman had his man in the grave going to his funeral talking about what happened. You know, I don't understand. You know, my husband is gone because I couldn't keep my mouth closed.
I'm not getting here. It's never okay.
Close
for
your
a
mouth.
Man to want to fight a woman.
Men should never hit a woman.
Why not?
It's just f***ed up.
Why?
Why should a man hit a woman?
To protect himself.
I just disagree with your viewpoints.
Why?
That you think a man should hit a woman?
Yes, I do.
I don't think violence is the answer to anything.
No, in protection, he's self-defense. He shouldn't just go around hitting just for no reason. But let's say that, should women hit men?
No.
Right. So if a woman should hit a man, shouldn't he smack her back?
No.
Why not?
Because she's a girl.
She doesn't know that?
Now I was listening to this little Jesse Lee Peterson, I think that's his name, you know, this little clip or whatnot. Now, I don't believe in going and hitting women. I ain't never had that problem. I don't deal with that. I don't deal with no type of disrespect. But what I'm saying is he kind of made a point. She doesn't know she's a woman when she's hitting on a man or whatnot, or she's aggressive to a man. She doesn't know she's a woman. I mean, it'd be the same thing if it was, you know, somebody like Kevin Hart going up against Shaq. You know, you don't know he's bigger than you, and then when he knock you out, now you want to say, well, Darren, man, you didn't have to hit me. Come on now, you asked for that. If you want to be treated like a lady, you got to act like one.
I'm going to tell y'all right now, every time, every man, especially black men, who post in my comments that it was about me, I provoked it, no matter what, I am a woman. When has it ever been okay for a man to want to fight a woman?
But don't let no man try to get over on you, okay? I don't give a damn if you slap him in the head with a pan. He not supposed to hit you back. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. I know y'all young folks think it's okay to fight. It ain't. The man ain't supposed to, he's supposed to walk away, okay?
I'm not getting here. It's never okay.
Close your mouth.
Man to want to fight a woman.
Did you hear that? She just admitted I provoked it. But no matter what I do, you supposed to just, like I said before, be a good boy and take it. And then she's upset when grown men are saying, no, I'm not taking it anymore. You know, you're not my woman. I don't owe you protection. You wouldn't do anything for me. So why should I put myself, put my life in danger, put my freedom in danger, you know, to protect a woman that basically, first of all, you're not mine, and definitely don't give a darn about me, because if you did, you would be talking to me crazy.
It'll never be an equal situation. So,
but you didn't know that when you started talking?
But you know, I understand why you say that, because you're not a man.
What kind of shit is that?
There go the shaming tactics. Here we go. They always go back to that. If you're not a utility to them, doing exactly what they think you should be doing when they think you should do it, you're not a real man. Oh my God. This shaming tactic thing is getting old. And be honest, I don't think a lot of us really realized it till Kevin Samuels, pretty much before he passed, you know, rest in peace, you know, put this thing on Front Street.
That's why.
So this guy fighting with his girlfriend. I'm sitting across the street. I'm watching him. I'm like, yo, this look a little intense. Then it started to get worse. He started to yell in her face. Then I watched him throw her to the floor. I watched this man kick her, right? Kick, a football kick. I'm like, hell nah. I run over there. I'm like, yo, fam, what you doing? He
Got
like,
his
yo,
cake.
mind your business. I pop on him, hit him. Mink, while I'm fighting him, shorty just hit me. I don't know what I got hit with. To this day, I don't know what she hit me with.
Unbelievable.
But she hit me hard. I just jumped in to defend you from getting your ass beat, and you gonna hit me? And then they both start jumping me.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the DTs pull up. They like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? She's like, oh, I don't know. He just came out of nowhere and attacked us. Dang. Bro, if the DTs did not believe me that I was basically saving her, because you could see in her face she had bruises. If he didn't believe me, I'd have went to jail.
I'm confused.
Unbelievable.
I am confused. So confused. And I don't even understand why I'm upset about it. Why am I crying? Why?
It's not confusing. Tend to your business, keep your mouth shut, and show some respect. That's all that it takes. Because I can guarantee you, if she'd have went in there and some random man just stepped to her or whatnot and started, talking crazy to her for no reason, and she was acting like a lady, 9 times out of 10, some man would have stepped in and said, hey, bruh, don't do that. But that's not what was going on. She was in there running her mouth, and she expected everybody else to come to her rescue. And then she got pissed when they didn't.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Only man that's obligated to protect you is your husband. If you want protection, ma'am, get a husband or call 911. Because you not wash, cook, and cleaning for these random men on the street.
Yep.
So why should this random man on the street protect you? Let's start thinking about these things logically.
I think this last lady summed it up, just as good as, anybody could. You want protection, get your husband. You want to be protected, act like you want it. Don't go in there, like a pit bull with your chest out, ready to box, and then get mad because somebody step up and call your bluff, so to speak. Because let's be real, most women, and I'm not saying all, but most of them, they don't do a whole lot with their hands. They do it with their mouth. They just run that mouth, and they get upset, when we decide, well, hey, we've had enough. Now, I don't advocate no kind of violence either way, so don't get it twisted. I'm lucky. I've been my woman 30-some years. I ain't got to go through all that. Never had, because I laid the guidelines out up front. That was part of the dating ritual. When we first went out on the first date, I thought, you ain't never got to worry about me putting my hands on you, but don't put your hands on me. Really, I don't care too much about words, because I know how to, go on about my business and leave you alone. So I'm not saying, be beating on these women. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, do not tolerate any disrespect.
Until I started taking accountability. Now I know I'm just an ain't shit ass bitch.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy, and silently